4. Oh, he's lucky. He's going to get 4, but that could so easily have gone into the stumps. Gives himself 4. Again, might have to change the field a little bit here. Nicely punched through.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of Lions TV. My name is Lesego Pooe, and as you can see, I'm joined in studio by a star-studded Imperial Lions coaching staff. I'd like to start off by introducing Wandile Gwavu, JP Duminy, Dominic Hendricks, Nandile Tyali, and Coach Jimmy. We'll be talking about all things cricket and the season ahead. Coach Wandile, let's talk about preparations and what it is that you're expecting to unfold on the field from a head coach perspective.
In terms of my expectations for the season, Lesego, we've got a massive responsibility as sportsmen. I think the world, or I know that the world has been through a lot, specifically our country. A lot of people have lost loved ones. We've just been through a lot. We've got the responsibility to keep people smiling. And that's what I'm looking forward to. We need to go out there and entertain people. And that's why I wake up every day. That I've been esteemed with a massive responsibility and a bigger purpose of keeping hundreds of millions of people happy. And that's why we wake up every day going out there and to represent not only the Lions, but the rest of people who love the game of cricket. So that's our responsibility going into the next season, that we're going to try our best to keep our fans happy. We look so beautiful in our clothing. We've got so many sponsors through these trying times. Thanks a lot to our CEO and to all the people that have done all the hard work behind the scenes. So for us as the Lions, we're coming in to entertain this coming season, and that's all for our fans and all the sponsors and everybody that has supported us throughout the past couple of seasons.
There's consistent monitoring after the week. The guys will weigh in, or they'll get their skin folds taken and things like that. I do know now we're on the process of securing a sort of understanding of working with a dietitian who's going to help the players as well individually in terms of what's the best thing to eat individually.
Coach Jimmy, let's talk about the preparations leading into the season and how they've been.
Been quite tough, really, because obviously I'm coming back from an environment whereby you train about 2 hours a day. So
very different. Very different to how many hours that you guys train? Six. Listen to that.
So to adjust, it was a bit difficult to start with, and obviously Coach Wandile Gwavu and our coaching staff here sat a bit and showed me how to do things in the Lions way and how to do things here. But obviously I was quite prepared, because where I come from, I used to work quite hard and everything, so I just fitted it in like a glove.
Recently, you ventured into coaching and you are now the batting coach for the side. Tell me about that transition and what you look forward to in this new role.
I've had an idea, yes, as a player, of what I think a coach should look like. And that's the experience that I have. I got brought into this environment, and I was, on day one, blown away by just the conversations that were being had within this setup, but also in the greater context of the Cricket Services Department here at CGL. And once I heard Jono Leaf-Wright speak about the passion that he has firstly, but also the vision that he sees for this team, I was sold immediately. And that speaks into the leadership, not only from his side, but just from Wandile as well, in terms of what he's talking about. And we've had conversations about what is the vision and purpose for this team.
And the team camaraderie, I mean, you cannot deny that the side has so much energy and togetherness within the side. How do you make sure that as a captain, you play your part in making sure that the team continues to have such good spirits within the side?
I think one of the biggest things is that, obviously with a new bunch, you need to understand and learn about everybody. So one of the first things that I did was try to sit down with all the new faces that sort of came into the setup and try to get a bit of their life story, learn a bit about them, and then sort of as time's gone on over the practices, you pick up on how the person is. In terms of getting the guys together, I've got to understand everybody and then figure out how to get the best out of everybody. I think that's the biggest thing. And then ultimately, if they trust me we can win trophies, because they'll trust all the decisions I make, and essentially, yeah, we'll play better. So yeah.
From a strength and conditioning side of things, how do you play your part in making sure that the guys are fit and healthy leading into the season?
At first, I mean, I know we spoke quite a bit with the head coach end of last season and planning on what's going to happen for the new season. And I do think the first initial instinct was to change things up. But soon thereafter, spending a lot of time thinking with the whole lockdown and whatnot, realized that yes, a few or quite a certain portion of the team had obviously moved on. We've got new people, but a good strong amount of Lions still remain. So changing it up was not necessarily going to be the best tool. I thought, let's improve what we've been doing, but get the new bunch of Lions to start adapting to how we do things. So it's not just myself. I've got Dr. Pillay, who plays a big role in the background. I've got Ziad, who's the physio, who's my right-hand man. And all three of us go at it every single day probably on how we're going to keep these guys healthy. COVID is the cornerstone of everything now in terms of all the protocols. So that's what basically leads us. So Dr. Pillay will lead us in that. So that changes how you structure your training sessions. And it affects, obviously, with the rest of the pipeline. I've definitely just tried to expand on pushing the players practice in, practice out. A lot of our warm-ups during our pre-season are far away from cricket. They're actually very rigorous.
Let's talk about the new players that have come into the side and what you're expecting from the new members.
Expectations, I think that for me would be very harsh from them, from my side. I think we need to allow them time to get into the team and grow into the team. I think the results will always take care of themselves. There's been a lot of growth already that has taken place from where we started off with them at the beginning of the off-season. So if anything, if there was something that I was expecting from them, it's just for them to enjoy the Lions, man. I think we're privileged to be working and being part of this big family of the Lions. And winning trophies is just a cherry on top. So expectations for me is just for them to grow and go all the way and represent the Lions with pride. And like Dom said, which is actually the first time I've ever heard this man talk about the Proteas. And we're going to do, by all means, whatever we need to do to make sure that this man plays for the Proteas.
Let's talk about just the culture that Imperial Lions has.
It's an ongoing process. We came into a Lions side, I remember it was 3 years ago, with Enoch Nkwe. Culture then was the culture that it was, and he is a man of, he's very strong on his values. I learned quite a lot from him, and one thing that was missing was the brotherhood and togetherness, and that's what they're talking about now, the relationships. The relationships were there, but we doubted whether the relationships were strong enough to hold the team together through tough times. The Lions were winning trophies, the Lions were doing well, we're producing players for the Proteas. But we had this doubt within ourselves, not necessarily that we posed to the team, that we don't necessarily feel that it's sincere enough. And we looked at ourselves as the coaches and we asked ourselves, are we being sincere enough? Are we vulnerable enough more to the players for the players to start understanding us and also trusting us? So there's a lot of trust. I think Dom will attest to that. There's a lot of trust in our change room now with everything that gets done. So in terms of our culture, I think we've got a good, solid, strong culture of trust, hard work, and we want to be successful. And we don't just want to be successful in the country, we want to be globally recognized, and that is something we always speak about in the past couple of seasons, and we are definitely focused on making sure that we want to be one of the best teams in the world.
Jono, I believe you have a special announcement for us all today.
Well, it was over the media quite a bit in the build-up to the season when we obviously announced our full coaching staff, but certainly very pleased and privileged to welcome Prasanna Agoram to South Africa. Welcome. It's an absolute privilege for us to have Prasanna join us.
11 years from the Proteas side, and now you've decided to come into the Lions family. Tell us about that decision and why you made that decision to join the side.
I got a call from my beloved friend, whom I respect a lot, Jono, saying that, would you be interested to come? I just, without even giving a second thought to it or telling him, give me some time, I said that, let me know when you want me to be here. And he said that I want to be for the whole season. And I also told you, I just don't want to do the job for the Lions, and I also want to get into talent hunting, right from under 13, men and women, regional and provincial. I got up that project which I did for BCCI way back in 2003 for the National Academy. And Jono said, just go ahead. So I'm extremely passionate to take South African cricket, at least from this province, and set an example how cricket has to be played and professionalism, bringing into the franchisee running it. That's what I'm looking very forward to.
What we've really tried to do at Lions Cricket is recruit good players, but also good human beings. And I think the coaching staff that we've constructed is a very, very value-driven team. And certainly Prasanna, knowing his values, knowing what he stands for, knowing his love and absolute passion for cricket, he lives and breathes the sport. He's probably the global icon for performance and high performance analysis in the world. And to be able to have him and his expertise join this team is a real blessing and privilege for us. And he's just fitted in so well with what is an extremely well-balanced coaching staff. Certainly with our narrative this particular season and the brand campaign around being the pride of Josie, we want to be the pride of South Africa as the Lions team. We want to lead by example, and certainly getting someone like Prasanna into the mix, as he mentioned, and working with the entire talent acceleration program from grassroots right up to professional, transforming that cub into a lion is certainly something that we're very excited to have him do in both the men and the women's game. And you're not going to find a more passionate human being about the sport than Prasanna Agoram, and it's an absolute blessing for us to have him here.
Definitely, and I fully agree with you. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And thank you at home for tuning in. This was Imperial Lions coaching staff, and I've had a great conversation with them, and I look forward to engaging with them more. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
Well, gets himself 4. Oh, he's lucky. He's going to get 4, but that could so easily have gone into the stumps. Well, gets himself 4. Well, again, might have to change the field a little bit here. Nicely punched through.